Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to start building some fidelity on these wireframes, and hopefully we'll have several components to start working off of. And if you went on Dribbble or any other website and you want to bring those designs in, I always paste them into my file as like just a reference point. And that means like, hey, I'm having trouble with some navigation options here. So like I'll go into Dribbble, I'll search up like navigation for like mobile or websites or whatever, or anything specific. If it's like a sidebar navigation, and I'll bring a lot of those images in and use those as just like inspiration to fuel my style direction. So now that we have some typography here, I'm just going to copy all these. I'm holding shift. I'm actually going to take all these assets in here, aside from this like font families frame. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to bring them into our visual exploration file, because this is just going to be like a big area where we're going to play around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a copy of this little section here, and I'm just going to call it navigation, and I'm just going to like delete everything. So the first step is, this is just my process. What I usually do is I go and I start finalizing little elements little by little, and then, tweaking them until they all feel like they're part of the same family. So, based off of our designs and our research, we assume that we're going to have home, wish list, profile, cart. That may change a bit. So let's jump in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some icons really quickly. I'm going to use the Streamline Icons plugin. You should all have that by now. And I'm just going to grab some icons from here and see what I like. Right now, I'm kind of liking this home icon. That's a pretty nice one. I can grab that. Ooh, that's a huge icon. That's all right. 800 by 800. I'm going to make sure that my next icons are definitely smaller. So I'm going to just delete that one right away. Oops, there we go. So there we go. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. And we have like a wish list. So I think the heart is going to work, really well with that. So grab the heart. Oops. We have like, what else do we have here? We have a profile, a cart. Maybe I'm thinking the profile is something that we keep maybe to the side, or maybe it's, that's maybe where all their orders are. You know what? We'll grab it just in case. Profile, because I was thinking maybe we have a dedicated, area for like profile versus like orders and stuff like that. So where is, this one's all right. Yeah, we can use this one. Or what? I actually like the circular one. There we go. And then we are going to grab a cart icon. Let's see what we have here. So we can do a couple things. We can do like a basket. We can do a cart. I like the cart. So that's what I'm going to choose for now. Okay, so now we got our icons. I'm actually thinking about moving the search to the middle. So that way we always have a search like available to us. So I'm just going to grab a search icon there. Okay, so the next step is, okay, we have this area here. We have some, structure around some of these items. I'm going to just put them together. I'm going to start using typography here. So I'm just going to grab the text tool and I'm going to start writing out all the different versions. Oops. And I'm just going to duplicate a bunch. So we have home, we have wish list. I'm going to leave one. I'm not going to, touch search right now. We have profile, and then we have cart. So we can actually start grouping these into frames. So I'm going to just connect them both and hold Shift A. There we go. We have an auto layout frame, and we can actually, make that like 12 or something. I'm not too worried right now about like the actual naming conventions, because at this point, it's, it's not something that I'm too worried about. I'm just kind of trying to get through putting these together, making sure that they all are, looking really good. So here we go. I have my items in a frame, like in a nav item frame. I'm gonna, connect these together. Oops. So I'm holding all these items down and a Shift A. This one over here is, I'm gonna make it in like a big circular button. So it's like right in the middle. So I'm gonna just grab another frame around this. And then I'm just gonna say like 8 pixels by 8 pixels, or maybe we can just like fix the width, fix the height of it, center in the middle. We could say something like it's 40 pixels by 40 pixels. Okay, now we have a nav, our nav items at least. Okay, this is looking actually not too bad. And we can start looking at some of our, our styles over here. So if you haven't already, it's probably best to try to start to make these into styles. That way it's just easier to use. Right now, I'm not too worried about this. I'm just going to use regular. So I'm going to grab all these text items and I am going to go and set them as interregular, and that's fine. And then I'm going to grab some color from up here. So there we go. Now we're starting to really see if there's, anything that we, really like about some of these like placements or these color options. So I have that, I'm using black, if I'm going to just grab this whole color palette. I'm going to grab this color palette and bring it here too. So that way it's just easier to grab. I'm going to delete that one because I won't need it anymore. And okay, so I have this. I'm going to just use the color picker and, grab my yellow. Because maybe, we'll just like throw a massive blob of yellow right there and we're going to just roll with that. It's actually a pretty nice color that we've chosen. This black over here can probably afford to be one of the darker blacks, and same with the home option over here. This is like, say, the active state. So now that we have the active state, okay, so as you can see, now we're starting to create some pretty cool hierarchy. I don't know if we need, the text per se, but I'm gonna roll with the text for now because I actually don't mind it. Okay, so we have everything in place, and I think like now we can start, playing around with certain things. So I want to make a background for this little house, see how that works. Because right now there's no icon background if you're into two-tone icons. And the fill, it could be like that or something like that. So like if you're on the home, you see that as the navigation items. Let's throw this on here. And I am just going to make them space between. And I'm going to give them some padding on either side. Oop. Maybe something like 32 pixels or 24. These items are all at 24 pixels, so they're probably, slightly big. So we can probably bump them down to something like 20. And yeah, this is actually looking really nice for our search. Who knows, maybe we do stick with this color. And we're gonna start to figure out like what's going to work for us here. Let's see. Okay, and I'm just gonna put in like a horizontal rule or something like that. Select both of those, put them together as an auto layout frame. Make some space. Where's that rule? And make that fill the container. At this point as well, I'm starting to also think about, okay, whenever I use like a horizontal rule, or whenever I use, you know, this element, this is how it's going to start looking for us. And there we go. We've created like a little navigation just by throwing some things together. You know, maybe we do make a variation of this. What I'm going to do right now actually is I'm going to just call this nav, and I'm going to say like nav v1. I'm going to just remove that. And I'm going to set the fill to white on this. And I'm just going to leave that as like nav v1. And so I'm going to maybe make another one without the different little pieces of text. Maybe just a little bit smaller with this over here. Maybe this this item over there is a bit smaller as well. And, you know, maybe the spacing is more tightened. And who knows, maybe that one's actually nicer. So I urge you all to, you know, make variations, see what you're starting to like. Maybe we don't have the text with, we have a version with like, without that search. See like v1.1 or v2.1. So definitely a lot of things to think about over here. Like that, and just like that. And there we go. We have some really nice navigation items here that I think, you know, they play really nicely together. And, you know, maybe there's another option here. Oops. Where, you know, the text, maybe there's no text, sorry, not text, but maybe there's no like little thing in the background. Delete that. And I'm going to just rename this to 2.2 and 1.2. And I'm just going to select, oops. I'm going to select these all. I'm holding down shift while I'm dragging here. And there we go. So we have a lot of different nav items already. And yeah, I'm going to stop here for navigation. We can move forward.